this is chaos. But this is kind of what this podcast is about, huh? Hi friends and happy holidays. Welcome to the first official episode of Keeping Up With Kenyarn, a fiber podcast about all things Kenyarn. I'm your host, Jay Kenyon, owner of Kenyarn LLC based in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Today is really exciting because I'm going to take you through some of my favorite maker tools. Whether you're shopping for yourself or another maker in your life for the holidays, I'm going to be going through some of my favorite books, both fiction and craft related, because I think it's important to be well-rounded. Also, I'm just like a voracious fiction reader, on top of finding some really, really cool books. That not all of them came out this year either, but just some really, really like staple reference books that I tend to use like on the regular. And then I'm going to share some really fun products for sort of like organization with your holiday yarn hauls. And also just like some things that I really enjoy for helping me get through the holidays, like with family and friends. So I hope you enjoy today's episode. As always, the products mentioned in this video are listed in the description below. I do make a small commission off of some of these items, but certainly not all of them. And as usual, our coffee link is down below. If you want to buy me a virtual coffee, it is always appreciated. Let's get to the good stuff. First, I wanted to start off by telling everybody, if you haven't already seen some of the videos that I've been doing on Instagram, this year when I brought my Christmas tree upstairs, I just wasn't feeling it. The decorations were like a mixture of older stuff that I had, from like years prior, some family ornaments that had been passed down, and it just wasn't really coming together. And I really feel like this winter has been like a total bummer, like the lack of light. It's just been a total downer, and I was really looking for something that was really high energy and really exciting. So I took it upon myself to dye up some neon pink I-cord yarn, and I knit it up into a bigger I-cord to make this like vibrant Christmas tree garland. And I also hand poured all of the ornaments. So I made pink, purple, and like gold foil ornaments with resin, using these gorgeous snowflake molds, and like little ornament molds that have like holographic shimmer on them. It was so much fun. I'm sharing the like footage of the process of all of that over on my Instagram at @isthatkenyarn. Go check it out. I'm also going to be sharing some clips of the final product at the end of the episode, so you can see it. It took a while to like decorate and get the balance right. The garland was pretty heavy, but it ended up actually working out really well. So yeah, I'm excited just to be able to enjoy that all holiday season. Like every time I walk in my house, I'm like, nice. So first, I want to start with some of our maker tools. These are things that I have purchased like over and over and over again, or have recently purchased and absolutely fallen in love with. Again, all of these items are compiled into a really easy to shop list. So the first one, and I'm sure a lot of you have one, is my digital kitchen scale. It is Kitchen Tour brand. It is high sensitive, up to I think 1,000 grams. This is like a must have. I pretty much carry it around my house when I'm weighing yarn, when I'm writing a pattern. If I'm testing for another maker, I'm constantly weighing things. This particular one that I put on the list has like a really easy like plastic cover so that things aren't like resting on top of it. But yeah, this is so useful, such a good investment. I absolutely love mine. The next thing that I bought, or that I buy every year, is a brand new bag of cedar rings. So obviously, makers who are working with wool, everybody knows that we want to protect against moths or like carpet beetles or anything like that. So what these are aromatic cedar blocks, because I'm not like an aristocratic wealthy woman with like an entire cedar chest to put my sweaters in. And if you do have a cedar chest, I'm bitter and jealous. But no, because I don't have a cedar chest, I tend to actually use like under bed storage zip pouches, I guess they're called. Amazon sells them for like $5. But what I do is every year, like after I've like gone through all my stuff, I refold all of my items, and I take one of these cedar rings and I kind of put it with each item. They smell amazing, but it's just sort of like a cost-effective solution for keeping your knit safe and warding off any like unwanted critters, especially if you live like in an old house. Like moths are like just annoying as all heck. So I highly recommend those. They come in all different like shapes and sizes, and yeah. So the next thing that I bought this year, and I didn't go into my local yarn shop like thinking I was gonna buy one of these, but when I saw one, I really just wanted to try it. So this is called the Big Sully. It's a yarn storage tub. It opens kind of like a clam, and it has this neat little tray. Mine is like currently out, so you can hold 2 separate yarn balls in here. And then if you can see, there's sort of these like little divots here so that your threads of yarn can come out. And I know like what you're thinking, like what is the difference between that and like a yarn ball holder or a yarn bowl? And I'll tell you, first off, the top has a straight needle docking station, so you can just put your straight needles in. It also has a gauge, a needle size measurement system all across the top. So if you pick up your needles, you don't know what size they are, it's right here. You can boom, boom, boom. What I love is that it comes with a rubber strap. I took mine off for right now, so it's actually really easy to carry and it's really sturdy. But my favorite part about this is that the bottom, this little purple bottom, comes off, and what I do is I keep stitch markers inside of this. I don't have any now, they're on my pattern. But you can keep your stitch markers in there, and the best part of all is that it's no slip. Like seriously, like trying to, when you yank your yarn with a yarn bowl or something with like a lid that can come off, sometimes it flies everywhere. I love this because it never slides. And I have a puppy and she is like so deterred by this. She's like, oh, whatever, I'm over that. And she doesn't really bother it. So I like that it has that feature too. But yeah, I love this thing. It's called the Big Sully. I've seen folks like knit with this thing like on their dashboard in the car. This is like a really, really great gift for a knitter or crocheter. I love it. Really great purchase. And this next item, and this is like sort of my last item for like my maker tool section, because again, I really, really want to be like transparent. I'm not like promoting things just to promote them. I really want to share stuff that like I genuinely love. So needle storage. It's the bane of like everybody's existence. It's really easy to let your needles get out of control, messy. like we end up like finding random chords and like turn keys like everywhere. At least I do. I'm sure I'm not alone. I'm just going to generalize. Um, but it's really hard to find something that's like perfect for circular needles and storage like in a really organized fashion. So I am going to share how I store my needles. So I have Chow Goo needles, interchangeable needles, and I also have a set of the Mindful collection from Knitter's Pride needles. I have 2 sets of circulars because I'm a monster and I have like 7,000 whips, so I have like 7,000 needles. But no, so this is the best thing to ever happen to me. So this is a photo album storage case. It's rainbow. It has 2 columns. Oops, I'll show you on this side. It has 2 columns. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 16 places. This is meant for like holding 4x6 photos, but like, when is the last time you printed a photo? Okay, question answered. But this is perfect for storing your needles. On this side, you can actually see that my Chow Goo needle set sits perfectly flat in there and it closes perfect. So when I open this up, what I can do is I have my needle set right here. It also goes in flat like this. It was just open, probably because I was in here yesterday. But what I did was I took a label maker and I made labels for each of the size and the length cord. So if you've ever used Chow Goo needles, obviously there's the small and the large side. So on the left, I have my small notions and my small like head modifiers. And then on the other side, I have my large section. Small, large cords, so easy. You can find these like at Michael's for like literally $10 when they're on sale. I got 2 of them because you never know. But but yeah, I love that thing and it makes storage so easy. Every time I have another knitter over in my office, they're like, "What?" But yeah, they sell them a bunch of places. So those are my must-have, always used maker tools. I'm not gonna like recommend needles because I know that all of those things are super personal. But I just thought that sharing some things that make my making like a lot easier, a lot more enjoyable and accessible, it was a great idea. So today I am wearing my pattern, the double rainbow shawl, and this is in our colorway Coral Reef. The best part is that Coral Reef is available right now at kenyarn.com for pre-order on our DK fingering and cumulus bulky base. This colorway is made up of 20 different dyes and every stitch is a different color. It really ends up looking like a coral reef. The other cool thing is that 100% of proceeds from this pattern, the double rainbow shawl, go straight to the Transgender Law Center, which supports like judicial cases for transgender people and supports the community as a whole. This pattern is also available at kenyarn.com and on Ravelry for those who prefer Ravelry. Coral Reef is a pre-order because it really is an involved recipe, and it was my last kind of like exciting pre-order. It's like my most requested colorway, and I just like, it's really hard to keep it in stock as far as like the amount that sometimes people want. So if you have been on the fence about purchasing this colorway, head over there now and grab yourself a skein. I appreciate it as always. Okay, so now we get to one of my other favorite things, my book recommendations for 2022. So you'll see down below in the description my my favorite book list, and the list definitely includes books from like other years, but I'm gonna really highlight a few of them today that I reference quite a bit, and that I've really enjoyed like looking through. Some are new, some are a little bit older, but I think you'll love them all. So the first book is the Tunisian Crochet Handbook, A Beginner's Guide by my dear, dear friend, Tony Lipsy. I have never Tunisian crocheted, or I had never Tunisian crocheted until grabbing this book. I mean, what can I really say except for this is like an absolute work of art. The patterns in it are so approachable, and like right out of the gate, there are like very, very, very clear and concise instructions on shaping, increasing, decreasing, adding color, like color changes, and even working in the round. Tunisian crochet is sort of like crocheting and knitting had a baby, and I just like really, really, really appreciate how easy and accessible Tony made it for people to pick up a new craft. So if you have not purchased this book, run, don't walk. So the next book that I am very, very much in love with, and I probably have brought this up with like anybody who's ever met me in person, is the Pom Pom magazine issue of Ready Set Raglan. This issue is devoted entirely to raglan construction sweaters. When I first started knitting, I was kind of like very hyper focused on knitting yoke sweaters, and they never fit my body, and it really, really discouraged me from like ever wanting to knit a sweater or ever like devoting the time to knitting a sweater. And obviously that's not how you want to feel when you're getting into a new craft, and when you're making something that is like for life, I mean, sweaters can last your entire life. So this book really, really changed my outlook on how to read raglan patterns, how to approach raglan patterns. It has such awesome like schematics and construction like graphics, like as you can see the photos, and I love that they're illustrations. Pom Pom magazine does a heck of a good job at coming up with just like really, really educational and informational content. And then obviously it's a plus that the book comes with like so many patterns. I actually knit my first sweater from this book. I did the Eris raglan, the EIRYS. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I think I am saying that right. But anyway, I love it. I love that I can get a physical copy. I love that I have marked it up. Yeah, this is the sweater that I knit. I love it. Highly, highly, highly recommend Ready Set Raglan. The next book that I really, really, really love is called The Knitter's Handy Book of Top-Down Sweaters by Ann Budd. It's right here. Not only do I love the contents of this book, I also love how the book is constructed. So obviously from the outside, it's got like a rectangular binding, but inside it has coil pages. And I don't know about you, but I love a good coil page because you can open the book and the pages just lay flat and they can stay where they are. But this book, the top-down sweater book, it walks you through sweater construction from 4 different designs. It walks you through seamless yoke, raglan, set-in sleeve, and then a saddle shoulder. And what it does is it actually provides you like gauge information for any weight of yarn for these multiple styles. So if you're like if you're a budding designer and you're like just, trying to get into sweater construction and you've been on the fence about like, oh my gosh, the math feels overwhelming, or I don't really know where to start or what I need to take into account as far as like the body and how our body fits in garments, like this is such a good book. I am not a prolific designer enough to start like designing sweaters, but I know that so many folks are, and I really recommend this. I use it a lot if I need to modify something, like if I have a question about another pattern, like this is often like reference material. And I also learned a lot about raglans, which is kind of what prompted me to buy the last book I talked about, Ready Set Raglan. But Ann Budd, awesome job on this book. This is like one for everybody's library. The last thing that I wanted to talk about, so I mentioned at the beginning of this that I'm like a voracious fiction reader. I put a lot of the books that I have read this year and last year, because I didn't have a podcast episode last year, on my book list down below. But I also wanted to share that this year, for the first time, I enrolled in Book of the Month, which is a subscription, based delivery service where each month you get a book. They offer like all sorts of genres: YA, fiction, romance, historical fiction, and they try to every month to give like a really, really good blend. I have gotten some amazing books, and I actually, like, the 3 that I read this year, I have lent out to other people because they were so awesome. But this is my next book, The Cartographers. I'm like part way through it, and I'm already loved. This one is by Pang Shepherd. I got this through Book of the Month. Yeah, I highly recommend it. Again, like, I am so picky about anything subscription based because, like, I'm like, well, am I really gonna love every single one? But the cool thing about Book of the Month is that you can skip a month. You also, it's very easy to like recommend a friend and like get a free book for yourself. I just really, really enjoy the fact that I can get like hardcover books for like $17. I'm kind of like hopeful that one day I'll have like a really, really nice library. So it feels really awesome to start seeing like my library shelves fill with books that I really, really enjoy. But yes, I've added some of my favorite fiction books and my Book of the Month link if you want to use it and get a free gift when you use my link. But yeah, great service, awesome selections. There have been months where I just haven't liked anything, and no big. I just skip it and I use my credit for the next month. So yeah, highly recommend. Okay, and last but certainly not least on the book front. So this book I saw advertised like a few months back. It was a pre-order. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Lane Publishing, previously Lane Magazine, I believe. But they curate these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful volumes of knitwear collections and patterns that span like across themes. Like sometimes the themes are very different. Sometimes the theme of the book is sort of like an aspect of crafting, like color work or like type of yarn or something like that. But if you know me, and this is not the last time you'll hear this, but I love easy knitting. So when I saw this book, I was like, okay, first of all, was this written for me? Second of all, get this in my shopping cart. So this is from Lane Publishing, 52 Weeks of Easy Knits. This book is bananas. Every pattern is so gorgeous. They give such good yarn recommendations. The photography is amazing. And I said to myself when I got this, like, a book is good when as soon as you open it, it answers like whatever question was on your mind. I was like, well, how many patterns are really like that easy? Let me tell you, every single pattern in this book is super simple. The book also walks you through very basic knitting techniques right out of the gate that can be applied to all the patterns in the book. But what I love is that on the table of contents, they list all of the patterns. There are 52 patterns. I think this is incredible. This is such a feat. I like geek out every time I open this book. It's 52 patterns, and they actually mark each of the patterns with a little red dot that are considered super easy. So if you're someone who's just starting out knitting and you enjoy like having a written pattern, I believe that this is one of the, I could be wrong, but I swore that I saw that they were moving to like digital copies of things now. At any rate, I love this book. It's beautiful in color. I already picked out a pattern that I'm knitting from it, but seriously, everything. I think that they achieved their goal in getting people to be like, well, wait, I could definitely knit every pattern in this book because honestly, there's nothing in here that I would not knit. Just gorgeous. Also, I love the size. I love the heft. I love the weight. I love like being like a little like junior high girl with like her books. 52 weeks of easy knits. Highly recommend. So this next recommendation actually comes from my experience of being at a family party and there not being a game that's like easy to set up or easy to like teach people, while also not being just like cards, because cards are usually like age specific unless you want to play Go Fish, like but this game I stumbled across a few years ago. It's from Renegade Game Studios and it is visually stunning, it's easy to play, and it's just like easy to teach other people. My friends and I have played some like vicious rounds of this. I absolutely love it. So this game is called Arboretum. It is really simple to set up. It's just a deck of like special cards with different types of trees on each of the cards, and basically the point of the game is to have like the arboretum with the longest trail of the same type of tree, and then you get points based on that. It even comes with scoring sheets, so it's like super easy at the end to just go through and score everything up. And my favorite part is that this just like fits in my handbag. Like I will bring this to the holidays because when you need to wrangle some kids into something or you want to just pass the time, you know, drinking a cocktail or whatever, this is such a fun game. Again, super easy, a little bit competitive, but won't result in like Monopoly level screaming, because Monopoly literally brings out the worst in everyone. Every year I like to order a yarn holiday box and open, you know, yarns like throughout the month. But this year, I actually ordered it so early. This year I got the Knit Collage holiday box, and I had seen other people opening their box without spoilers, but I realized that I should have started opening it like December 1st. So I'm like way behind. I have not opened this, like literally sealed. So what I'm going to do is open this and see what's inside. So I've also heard that some of the yarns in here are custom, and you all know how much I love Knit Collage. Also, do not judge me for opening this box with a knitting needle. File a complaint with HR, okay? Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna Hulk out. So as usual, this is wrapped. So cute. Welcome to your 2022 winter solstice yarn calendar. Oh. The fun part of this yarn calendar is that you can create either a large scarf or a cowl and a hat. You'll receive an email from me soon that includes these pattern options. I already got that. We're so thrilled that you're here and hope you make something you'll cherish for years to come. Oh, I love that. I forget what option. So there were 3 options for color palettes. I honestly forgot which option I chose, but I think I'm really late to opening this. So let's see. All the items are numbered, so feel free to open these every day or every other day leading up to a holiday tradition or whenever you like. Okay. So first of all, really cute little Notions pouch. Oh. Okay, cute little notebook, which I always need for designing because I'm always on the go. Oh, sweet ginger citrus tea. Love that. Chocolate. Never gonna complain about that. Sweet Tangerine Positive Energy from Yogi Tea. This is actually one of my favorite teas, so score. Ah, yes. Knit Collage branded lip balm. Oh my god, I'm gonna be like such a mean girl with this winter. Oh my god, it smells... What is this? It's like, vanilla? Eggnog? I don't know. It's good. Honestly, what is more painful than the first time you use chapstick? It's like, why do you have to make those ridges? My lips are getting slaughtered. Okay. Okay, so I don't know how many things are in here. Lord. 1. Okay, so there are 12 things. So what's the date today? The 14th, so I should open 1 through 6. Honestly though, like, look at how freaking cute this is. The ribbon is always so glam. All of these are wrapped so perfect. This one is already like kind of opening itself. So let's just start here. Okay, let's go hog wild, folks, okay? Oh. Okay, beautiful. Love my base. So this is one of my favorite yarns from Knit Collage. This is their spun cloud. What color is this? Oatmeal? Creme brulee. I knew it was some like sweet treat. So creme brulee, it's this gorgeous taupe. Oh, I love this. Okay, let's put this aside. We've got our, I'm assuming this is like the base of our scarf. I'm gonna knit a scarf in this. And you know what? I'm not opening them in order because rules are for suckers, huh? Okay, I'm opening package number 12. So if you're opening this, sorry, look away. Ooh, love. Okay. So we've got this charcoal with like low tweedy flecks in there. Oh, I got the neutrals box. Yes. I remember that. And I remember Amy being like, you got the neutrals box, but I was feeling reserved when I ordered this. So don't judge. Okay, next one. I'm opening number 4. This is chaos, but this is kind of what this podcast is about, huh? Jeez, this thing is like Fort Knox. Oh. Okay. Wildflower yarn in this gorgeous khaki with, oh my god, these are so pretty. There's like sunflowers and little baby's breath and like orangey taupe and black. Can you see this? It looks so pretty. This already looks chef's kiss. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is number 11. Wow, this is fun. Ooh, ooh la la. Enchanté, mademoiselle. This is a beautiful, like, deep plum and mauve and, like, rusty orange. Love that. Well, everything is already looking divine. Okay. Ooh, this is pretty. I believe that this is their, I'm not sure, I forget what the name of this yarn base is called, but look at it. It's like oatmeal, gray, creamy goodness. Wow, I'm very excited that I got the neutrals box. I think there was like rainbow, neutral, and I forget. And those are not the names. They were much prettier. The branding was much more on point than I'm making it, but. Oh, this is so pretty. Oh. So this is like a sweet little pop of color. It's like cream with like pinks and teals. I love the hand spun. Like this is all gonna look so good knit up together. And there's a bunch of yarn scraps here. And you know what I do with these? I collect them and then I donate them to Hedgehog Fibers. She collects them for her Tweety yarn, and if you mail her like however much weight, she gives you like a really, really awesome discount, and I love a good discount on Hedgehog Fibers. So I also wanted to take a second to answer some questions that y'all submitted for this podcast episode's Q&A portion. So the first question that someone asked was favorite cast on and cast off. I like long tail cast on. Although I don't know if it counts, but like I also love like an I-cord, using an I-cord, knitting into an I-cord for the cast on. And cast off, I love an I-cord. I love an I-cord edge on everything. I'm sorry, like, you know, sue me, but ever since I started knitting Stephen West patterns, the I-cord is chef's kiss, supreme. Yeah, and then the next part of that question was favorite project type for knitting. My favorite project type for knitting is definitely shawl knitting. And it has to be simple enough so that I can multitask while I'm doing it. The next question I got was, do you miss your SLP job? That's a good question. Prior to taking Kenyarn full-time, I used to work as a speech language pathologist. I'm still licensed. And I guess the answer to that question is yeah, I do miss it. I miss patients, the patients that I worked with. I miss sharing moments of like joy with patients. I miss like celebrating every size accomplishment with patients. And then there are things that I don't necessarily miss. But yeah, good question. So the answer is yes, I do. The next question is, how did you get started working with resin? I fell down the rabbit hole of like TikTok resin art, but I wasn't like super sold on like a lot of the items that that had molds already established. So I kind of just treated it like okay, I want to like play with resin, but I really want molds that could work for like fiber arts, which is how I kind of came up with my shawl rings and my buttons. I'm lucky enough to work with someone who makes molds for me, like to my specifications and sizing. And yeah, I really, really appreciate the ability to do that because I love being able to make functional stuff. If you haven't seen, we actually did a resin button update last week. So the new button shape is up. They are so beautiful. We have like 6 different glitters. So yeah, check them out if you haven't seen them. Love making shawl rings. And soon I'm going to be updating more regularly. Also bookmarks. Because I love the bookmarks that I make, and why am I having such a brain fart? Stitch markers. Yeah, I'm gonna be introducing some stitch markers, so that'll be really cool too. And the last question that someone asked was, how did you create your Foggy Erin base? It's perfection. So first of all, thank you. It is a lot to create your own custom yarn base. It's number one, a huge commitment. Number two, it's a really timely process, like start to finish. It took me about 1.5 years. At like the year mark, I actually was able to get samples. And the thing is that the mill is so far away that they ask you up front to they ask you up front to design like multiple bases in case you like don't like one and you want to keep one. So when I went into the process, something that's really interesting is that I went into this and I was like, oh, I want to design like a merino alpaca chainette type yarn. And so, you know, I was really dead set on like what I wanted and how like it looked, and I wanted it to be Aran weight. Like regardless, I always wanted it to be like a heavy worsted weight. But the mill that I work with and the company that I work with, in communicating with the mill, was like, yeah, but you need to also choose a different yarn. And I was like, well, what? I don't want another yarn. I want like a chainette. And they're like, yeah, but you have to. So, interestingly enough, I'm really grateful that they said something like that, because when I actually got both the samples, I ended up being like, okay, fine. So I designed the second yarn. I said, okay, I want it to be like really high twist, 2-ply. I really want the stitch definition to be there. So I got both bases, and the chainette base, I ended up dyeing, and I hated it. I hated, I don't know, I kind of think it had more to do with the fiber content than the chainette construction, but I just hated it. I was like, oh my God, thank God I did not order just one sample. I would have been high and dry. That second sample was Foggy Aran. And when I got that yarn, I was like, oh wow, this is it. This is perfect. And that's how Foggy Aran came to life. You know, it's like our special base. So I do typically, like keep it close. I don't like wholesale it a ton to other people. And I really like, you know, you order like a lot of yarn, at once. It's really like the minimum order. So it's really cool that I get to release it like slowly but surely, like in all of my collections. But yeah, it's a really special yarn. If you haven't worked with it, I highly recommend it. So yeah, so those are my questions for this episode. If you have other questions that you want me to answer in other episodes, please drop a comment below and let me know. Let me know what you're wondering about. Pick my brain. This is so fun. So I can't wait to open these for the rest of the month, but in the meantime, I'm going to wish you all a very happy holiday, however that may look, with whoever you want to surround yourself with. Thank you all so much for really, really making this year super special. It was a little bit rocky, and I feel like I'm finally sort of like surfacing for air with this podcast and with like a lot of the changes that have been happening at the studio. But I really just want to take a second to thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. I couldn't do any of this without you, and I don't take any of it for granted. So yeah, we're gonna roll the Christmas tree footage that I promised you at the beginning of this episode. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you absolutely love being able to check out my homemade garland ornaments. Drop some comments below, and let me know if you have any questions. Happy holidays.